All right, everybody. Been climbing all morning. And I know we have a series of climbs here today out of Jennings Creek, where we had enjoyed breakfast by Fresh Ground, banana pancakes. Oh my goodness, I've been hearing about them for years. They were absolutely out of this world. Bacon, and he also made a breakfast bake in a cast iron Dutch oven. Fantastic. We have been climbing for a few hours, finally descending. It's been pouring rain all morning. Got to be honest, I'm soaked, and it feels like it's about 55 degrees right now with the wind blowing. The rain has finally lit up a little bit, and I'm actually freezing. Hands are freezing. That's okay, because we've been keeping a pretty steady pace to stay warm. So we're headed towards, at some point, I don't have the particulars down, but I know one thing for sure. I'm headed to the shelter, duck in there for a few minutes, and grab a layer, try to get warmed up a little bit. We're headed for I believe it's a Doppler station at some point in the day. No views so far. Had a great morning with the gang, their breakfast, and even Odie with the Hiker Yearbook showed up. And that was absolutely, it was great to meet him in person. And I actually met him a few years ago at the AT Museum up in Pine Grove Furnace near my home. And Odie will probably never see this, but if he does, Odie actually, when I stopped in, I was asking a million questions because, of course, I was planning this trip. This has been a few years back. And he was so kind. He probably spent 2 hours with me. He was volunteering in there at the AT Museum. And of course, he was encouraging all the hikers to come through to submit their photographs for the Hiker Yearbook. And one thing I would like to say about Odie is I think everybody's pretty much aware of how much the virus has affected the class of 2020. So many people coming off trail. And for many, I may even want to say most, who were out on trail, many of them were not able to come back due to their job, or many people gave up their homes. They were from other countries. I'm one of the lucky ones to be back out here. I'm fortunate that I live on the East Coast, and I could literally hop in a vehicle and be home within 2 hours. But Odie was out there promoting the Hiker Yearbook, and he has assured the class of 2020 that he is doing a Hiker Yearbook for this year. We've had so many things that we've lost due to the virus. We've lost trail days, so many other things, and I'm not saying that to be selfish. All of us, everyone at home, everybody watching this video, the virus has affected us all in one way or another. So I'm not being, selfish and saying, we've lost so much. I mean, I'm grateful to be out here, and that's what's very important to me. But one thing I want to say to my classmates, if you're a member of the class of 2020 and you're out on trail, came off trail, and your plans have changed, and you're not going to be able to hike the trail till next year, please, by all means, make sure you submit your photos to the Hiker Yearbook. And those of you who spent all the time doing all the shakedown hikes, putting in all the work, you bought the ticket for transportation, you postponed your journey this year, you quit your job, and you made the decision to delay the last minute because of closures or whatever, submit your picture to the Hiker Yearbook. You are definitely a part of the class of 2020, and I know when I open my yearbook, there's so many people that I've met online, the different forums, other vloggers that I've come in contact with through social media and YouTube. Please submit your photographs to the Hiker Yearbook. Hold on, I got my trekking pole stuck. All right, because when I open my Hiker Yearbook, Odie said it's going to be the same size as all of the other ones. I thought, how could he possibly put out, the standard size yearbook as in years past? And he said he was definitely going to do the hardbound edition. The pictures may be larger, but if you've been affected by the virus, you made the commitment to hike in 2020. send those pictures in. Again, when I open my yearbook, I want to see your face. You know, you're part of my journey. You're my brother. You're my sister. And we can all share in those memories. Bryant Ridge Shelter, everyone, mile 762.3. Looks pretty awesome. Let's take a look inside. This is the lower level. And this is the upper level. Middle of June, and right now I'm very happy that I did not send my sleeping bag home. I was thinking about it with all the hot weather we've had. Not tonight. I'm looking forward to dry clothes, a dry bag, and getting warmed up. Behind that cloud right there is a Doppler installation that basically assisted in predicting only a 20% chance of rain today. And it's pretty much rained since about 9:30 this morning all day long. Let's stand here for a second and see if the clouds are clear. You can see I'm dealing with very low visibility here. I wish you could see that, because when I walk, oh, hold on, there it is. Hey, catch just a glimpse of it, the bottom portion of it. All right, everyone, this is really cool. This rock formation here is called the Guillotine. I need to walk down these steps right underneath that rock and hope that we don't have an earthquake. This is really cool down in here. Can I get an amen? Boy, I'm hoping for anything hot. Maybe sit in that van of his for a few minutes. Warm up. Okay, everybody, my closing today is going to be a little bit up close and personal. We are here at the Thunder Hill Shelter at mile 772.5. It's going to give us 14 miles of hiking for the day. Probably 80% of it was uphill. What a grind. But the reward for the day was seeing fresh ground. Again, he served us hot dogs and hand-cut French fries, and he was serving some other hikers in the area as well. So I'm all set up in my tent here, getting all tucked in for the night. The shelter is actually full. There's a couple section hikers in there and some of the others in the group that would prefer to be inside the shelter versus setting up the tent. It looks like we're going to have some cold weather here this evening. atweather.org is a great resource for the weather forecast while you're out here. But one thing it does not factor in is the elevation. We're currently at 3,960 feet. The way the atweather.org is set up, it basically picks the nearest town to the shelter. And it's saying our low tonight is going to be 52 degrees in rain. However, at elevation, you can probably add an extra 6 to 10 degrees of coldness, to that. So if you do the equation, it's going to be in the 40s tonight. So sadly, a lot of us have already sent some of our winter gear home. I've made some transitions myself. I want to go through just a couple of those real quick, and I want to share with you real quick how I plan on staying warm tonight. Number one, a lot of you have been asking about my backpack, and it's actually hanging right here in my vestibule. I have a little S-hook up here, and I have a trekking pole tent, so I've simply hung it up there to keep it up off the ground. It is soaking wet on the outside, and you really can't see a good shot of it right now. However, I invite you to visit Hyperlight Mountain Gear's website. It is the Windrider 2400. It's a 40-liter backpack, and you can get all the specifications on it at their website. Another change that I have made is before I came back out, I left my Enlightened Equipment 30-degree quilt at home, and I've brought it's a much lighter bag. It is an Aegis Max sleeping bag. I actually use it as a quilt. Now, there's a lot of controversy over how cold this quilt will take you. Honestly, the way I've been using it, I feel that a realistic temperature to take this to is only about 50 degrees. Now, how I'm going to take that a little colder here tonight is I've held on to my Sea to Summit Reactor sleeping bag liner. I think this is a great item to have. It's extremely comfortable. It's great for like a really hot evening where you need just a little bit of coverage. It's really thin. It's only going to add it claims up to 14 degrees to my sleep system. However, I'm only going to put it at about 8 to 10 degrees, and inside this sleeping bag here, it's definitely going to warm things up a little bit for me. One of the main reasons I love using this is right now, from a day of hiking, I had a lot of grime on my legs from being outside and in the mud and everything. Now, I have wiped my legs down, but I'll be inside this liner, and this is real easy to throw in the washing machine versus my quilt. So this is going to also protect my my sleeping bag, if you will. It's truly a sleeping bag, but I use it as a quilt. So pretty sure there's a link down in the comments for this bag that I'm using. Moving right along, as far as some other items that I'm going to use, I have my Aegis Max, and I've done a review on my channel for this. These are the Wind Hard Aegis Max down booties. Now, these things are invaluable. They only weigh a couple ounces, and they're actually down booty socks. So I'm going to be adding them over my dry, darn tough sleep socks. I use these only for sleeping. I don't use these for hiking, and they actually come up just a little bit. Hold on. Quick interruption there by none other than Fresh Ground. Some of us had some equipment issues here this evening as far as enduring the cold. This is how wonderful Fresh Ground is. He gave up some of his own gear out of his van. He's planning on making breakfast for everyone in the morning. There's been some other hikers come to the area as well. He wants to take care of them. But Fresh Ground just literally hiked down the trail from on the roadway, like quarter mile, half mile down the road. He has just come in here to check on us to make sure that everybody's okay and is going to be warm tonight. That's what a great heart he has, other than, in addition to coming out feeding hikers. And we thank again everyone who has supported him, who's given donations to the Leapfrog Cafe. Thank you everyone so much. But Fresh Ground just rolled by my tent, and that's what the interruption was. But I wanted to share that with you. So again, I have the down booties going over my darn tough socks. I still have my cuddle duds that I'm using. They were in all the stuff was in my gear explosion video. I still have my rain pants. Now, these are dry. I did not wear these today because I typically hike in shorts, even in the 40s sometimes, because I just really heat up when I'm hiking. So this is an additional layer that I can use tonight, is my rain pants, and I plan on using that late in the evening when the sun goes down and I really get tucked in good for the long haul over the night. Now, my rain jacket's hanging right here. It's completely soaked. That is my Outdoor Research Helium-2 jacket, and it's completely soaked inside and out. It just couldn't take the whole day of being soaked in the rain, so that is not an option. I have that hanging up there, drip drying, but we all know it's not going to dry overnight. So let's see here. And through all of this, I've managed to keep an extra set. This is my extra set of hiking clothes, and I still have dry shorts, dry underwear, hiking t-shirt. Everything else that I have is soaking wet and is kind of laying over here in the corner on top of a plastic bag. When I get up in the morning, all that wet stuff is still going to go on, because no matter what, even though I have dry sleep clothes, I want to protect these because we have bad weather that's moving in, and I want to make sure I always have a set of clothes that are dry to sleep in. Turning the camera around, I have my my Under Armour. This is their balaclava hoodie, so I can pull the hood up. It'll go over my face if I need it. I also have my dry buff still, so I can use that as a hat or a neck gaiter, or whatever I choose to use it for to help me stay warm tonight. And I also have my puffy still with me, and that was also featured on my Gear Explosion video. So I haven't inflated my sleep pad yet. I'll do that here in a little while. But I wanted to share with everybody how I plan to stay warm for the night, because 40s in the pouring rain is no joke. It's supposed to rain throughout the night. And also my tent alone, there's some folks down in the shelter, so my tent is actually going to give me about an additional 5 degrees of warmth here tonight. It's also going to break the wind. The way I have it set up, I have my trekking pole set a little lower to kind of block some of the wind that's blowing in through here as well. So I think I'm pretty set for the night, and I'll let you guys know in the morning. So just wanted to share that stuff with you because tonight can be a tough night. Hypothermia is a real threat. We're at elevation. Temperatures can be in the 40s, and if you're not dry and warm, you're gonna have a real bad night, and hypothermia is no joke. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and close everything out for the evening. I appreciate everybody trekking along with me. I didn't shoot a lot of trail footage today because it was pouring down rain and we were going uphill most of the time. So all is well. Do want to thank everybody for watching Wild on the Trail. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.